Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to do something a little fun. I want to answer a question that came in from a viewer because they came up with a pretty good question, one that I don't think I've been asked exactly the same way before. What they asked is if I could take a modern manufacturer that's making guns today that doesn't make a revolver and then have them actually make a revolver, which manufacturer would it be? And if I could design the gun, how would I design it? What would it look like? What would it basically be? Would it be more modern? Would it be something older? Would it be something completely new? What would it be? Well, that's a pretty interesting question. Like I said, I love revolvers, so I liked thinking about this one. And you know what? I don't really have a lot of choices of which manufacturer I would choose. A lot of manufacturers make revolvers, at least the manufacturers I like. CZ, they don't make their own revolver, but they own Dan Wesson and now Colt. So they have revolver lines. Smith & Wesson is mostly revolvers. It's pretty much only revolvers as far as I'm concerned. Ruger is mostly revolvers, at least as far as I'm concerned. So those are some of the big ones right out of the way. And then we've already talked about Colt, how it's under CZ now. And then when you look at other manufacturers that I really like Beretta, you might think that would be one that I would choose. But Beretta already makes revolvers. They've got the Stampedes in multiple configurations. And then, of course, you got Pieta revolvers. So really, out of my favorite gun brands, there's only one left that doesn't make a revolver to my knowledge. Now, I know the people who founded the original company, they went on to make revolvers, but I don't think it's ever been made under this name. And that is, of course, Sig Sauer. Sig Sauer does not make a revolver. So if I was going to choose a company, I love Sig Sauer, so I would love to see a Sig Sauer revolver. Now that we've chosen the company, we just need to move on to what would it be like? What would this gun look like? What features would it have? Well, since this gun is being made for me, I'm being hired as the designer. It's going to be something I would want. And I think everyone knows one gun that I really like is the Chiappa Rhino. And what I love about this Chiappa Rhino is, one, I actually do kind of like the looks. It's unique. I love that. It gets used in sci-fi shows all the time, and I like that aspect of it. But the number one thing I like about it is it fires from the lower cylinder, which gives you a completely different recoil feel. It makes it much more controllable. It goes straight back into your arm instead of hitting your wrist real heavy. So just makes for an excellent gun. So I would definitely take that feature. That firing from the bottom cylinder, that would be a feature that I would start with when I was designing my gun. Now, another feature I would like to take from the Chiappa is the grip. I actually love the grips on the Chiappa. But because of the way they're set up, to do the grip on the Chiappa, you got to kind of make the bottom of the gun a little bulky. And I wouldn't want to do that because I don't want to make mine out of aluminum. I'd want it to be stainless steel. So even though I really like the grips from the Chiappa, it wouldn't go over to my next gun. Now, keeping with the theme of stealing features from other guns, I'm going to go to the Kimber K6S. Remember, couldn't choose Kimber either because they make their own revolvers. And the K6S double action, single action is an amazing revolver, and I like a lot of things about it. One of the things I would take from it definitely is the quality of build, the way they do the cylinders, the recessed cylinders, that would definitely be part of my gun. And other things about the gun I like is just the way they do the cylinder release, the push button cylinder release. I like that. I would use that. And I definitely like the dovetailed rear sights. So those sights would definitely be something I would take over to another gun. Basically, I'd be starting off with sort of like a Kimber K6S double action, single action that fires from the bottom cylinder. So that's where I'd be heading with this. And the only other thing I would bring over that I can think of right now is something else from the Chiappa. Since I am going to move the bottom, the cylinder, the barrel for the K6S double action, single action down to the bottom, I'm going to have a lot of space at the top, so I'm going to bring in the cutouts that that Chiappa uses on a lot of their longer revolvers, just to kind of lighten it, because it is going to be stainless steel. So those would be the features I would bring over into one gun, and here's what I think it would look like. As you can see, it's definitely different. I didn't say I was going to design a good gun. I was just going to design one that I liked. And this is what it would be. I don't know what we'd call it. We'd either call it the Fugly Boomer, or maybe the Sig Sauer bleh, something like that. We'd come up with a name. But I like the looks of this. I like how it turned out. I like that it's more sleek than a Chiappa Rhino. It's smaller platformed. The grip's not as big. The gun's not as tall overall. But it still has that firing from the bottom cylinder. It's stainless steel. I wanted to keep it stainless steel, even though that'd make it a little heavier, because it would also help absorb recoil. So even though it's a little bit of a smaller gun, it being stainless and having that lower fixed barrel, that's going to make it recoil to where almost anybody can handle it, even with 357 loads in it. So this is it. This is what I would have designed right here. Like I said, not the most beautiful thing in the world, but this would be the gun I would design. If I could choose a manufacturer that didn't make revolvers already and make them make one, and then if I got to design it, this is what we would end up with. So this definitely shows us one thing, that I should never be hired to design a gun. All right, everybody, before I go, I want to say one more thing. The other day, I made a video about how I don't care if felons get guns. If they've served their time, I think they should have access to guns. Not a lot of people disagreed with me, surprisingly, but some people really did take exception to the fact that in the title card of that video, I showed some black hands holding a gun while talking about undesirable people getting guns. And they said, that shows you're a racist. That was a racist thing to do. Well, is it a racist thing to do? Yes, of course it is. Because one of the things I was pointing out is that most of the anti-gun laws are racist. They were born in racism. They're still racist. The only reason a lot of people in the gun community still believe in denying felons guns is because they don't want black people and Hispanic people having guns because of their own racist beliefs. That exists today. Gun laws started out racist, and a lot of people nowadays, it's their own racism that keeps them supporting these ridiculous gun laws. And that was something I was pointing out. I was also pointing out with that picture that those laws still to this day affect black people unevenly, because black people have not been allowed to prosper in this country. They have been held back, whether you like to believe it or not. It might be okay to say, well, any one person has the opportunity to drag themselves out of the gutter and become something. That's true. But collectively, as a group, they do not have the same opportunities. And that has affected their place in society today. That was another thing I was pointing out. It wasn't about me being racist. It was pointing out the racism of the whole topic. And I'm not saying I'm not racist. I'm a little bit racist. Everybody's a little bit racist. It's tribalism. It's built into our DNA. Doesn't mean we have to listen to that little part of ourselves that says that thing, but that little part's probably going to be there for most people. Less so my kids. I mean, they seem to not care at all about stuff like that. Sexuality, color, whatever. So I have hope for the next generation. But the whole point was that it's racist. I'm a little racist. You're a little racist. Everybody's a little racist. We're also a little bigoted. I find myself in front of my sons saying things all the time about women drivers. In fact, my son and one of his friends was making fun of a woman who couldn't park her oversized truck the other day. And my son's friend, making fun of my son, said, it's probably because she's Hispanic. Those Hispanics can't drive because my son's Hispanic. And, well, we don't really think he is now, but go with me here. And I said, no, that's racist. It's not because she's Hispanic. She can't drive because she's a woman. You know, that was bigoted of me. I mean, I accept it. If she'd been an Asian woman, I would have said it's because she's an Asian woman. You know, let's all pretend that Asian women are great drivers and that there's no basis to that stereotype. Just like let's pretend there's no basis to the stereotype that most felons are black, or at least they're people who are black tend to commit felonies at a much higher rate. Of course, they do. It's circumstantial, and it's because of our society, and it's because of problems we need to fix. We need to fix those things before we worried about gun laws. And choosing that picture wasn't about me being racist. It was about me pointing out how, like I said, gun laws themselves are racist, the circumstances are racist, and we still have a lot of people in this world, and even in this gun community, that justify a lot of gun laws because of their own racism. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to say thanks for coming, and I will see you later. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.